Alright, so I just need to vent a little bit, and I don't really post my face or my voice online anymore. I used to do it a lot. So this is weird to me to be doing this again. And I'm probably going to dig up some ancient video editing software from my computer that I haven't opened in ages to make this somewhat legible or audible, I suppose. But I just got labeled drug seeking for picking up my prescription medication. So let's talk about it, I guess is what the kids say these days. I take Adderall. I have chronic ADHD and some really bad sleep problems where I just don't wake up. So I've been on Adderall for about a year now, and it's like a switch has gone off in my brain. It's night and day for how functional I am. I'm more stable in my job and my life than I ever have been in my entire life, and discovering in my mid-20s that they can do something about it was crazy. But anyways, I take Adderall, and I live in the state of Utah. And I don't know if it's this way for every state, but in the state of Utah, they will only give you a 30-day supply at a time because it is a Schedule Class 2 controlled substance. I might have bungled the word order there a little bit, but you get the gist. But anyways, they can only give me a 30-day supply maximum. And I cannot pick up my next 30 days until the 31st day of that 30-day cycle, meaning there is no occurrence in which I will ever possess more than 30 days of my medication unless I have skipped doses. So keep that in mind, because I do need to take this every day to even get out of bed. Well, so I refill my prescription online, which isn't really refill because the way it works is they actually have to write you a brand new prescription every time. Every 30 days, they'd write you a brand new prescription. So about a week or so before I run out, I will put a MyChart message in through to say, hey, I need another 30 days of this thing that literally gets me to my job. And they send it to the CVS pharmacy over by where I work, and then I go and I pick it up, and it's fine. Well, yesterday I go in to pick it up, and I was already about 2 days past when I needed to pick it up because I have ADHD. And I've been dealing with a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. Somebody important to me just died. So last week I was flying across the country on zero notice, literally a 10-minute notice to go pick up his car. And while I was at the airport, during my back-to-back 16-hour layovers, I did not take my Adderall because I was asleep in an airport. So I did have a slight amount of extra Adderall as a result, which I used that to my advantage so that I could give myself an extra 2 days to be able to pick up my next 30 days. So I don't have any Adderall at all. I used it all, and I'm 2 days technically past when I was supposed to have it. So I go to pick it up, and they're out of stock. Okay? That's fine. I ask if they can transfer it to a different CVS. No, apparently that's illegal. You can't transfer a Schedule 2 to another pharmacy. The doctor has to do that. So I go, okay, can you cancel it here so that I can call my doctor and have them do that? No, we can't do that. It's illegal. Okay? So I then go to my doctor. So my doctor is through like a major healthcare provider here in Utah. It's through the University of Utah healthcare system. And I go to the main hospital because it's less than a mile from where I live, give or take about a half a mile. And it's convenient for me to just drive over there and go in there, and that's the biggest pharmacy, and I know they'll have Adderall there because it's where all of the mental health patients get discharged from. Well, most of the mental health patients get discharged from that hospital. So I know they have Adderall in stock that they can give me. So I go there and I explain what's going on. And now keep in mind, I work a job. I have a job. And I was out running errands after my job. So I just lost my train of thought. I I go to the main hospital, to the pharmacy there, and it is about 8 o'clock at night at this point. And the whole kerfuffle with CVS had taken me about an hour and a half, because I went in and they didn't have it, so I went home and I got the empty pill bottle from the last time that they filled it, because they'd actually filled it at a different CVS pharmacy than my regular one, because I was out of town. And I'm like, so you guys were able to send it to this pharmacy out of town, but you can't send it to the pharmacy down the street that might have it in stock? So that was like a whole big thing where I am desperately trying to not accuse a pharmacist of lying while I know that they're lying to my face. So anyways, that was about an hour and a half of both travel time because of traffic and construction and whatnot, and also waiting in line at the pharmacy twice, which is fun. So I get to the main hospital, and it is about an hour until that pharmacy closes, first off, but it's also 8 o'clock at night. And so they explained to me there, CVS totally could have sent it to another pharmacy, but all the CVS pharmacies are out of stock in the state of Utah. Okay, that makes sense. Why didn't CVS tell me that? Instead, they had to make up this whole big thing about it being illegal and how they'd never done that before, when literally my last month's prescription was picked up at a different pharmacy. So I'm like, okay, well, what can we do? And she's like, I can call CVS and ask them to cancel it, and then we can see if we can get it reissued. I'm like, awesome, that's great. So she calls CVS, and she gets it canceled. Easy as that. And CVS wouldn't do that for me, but they'll do it for a different pharmacist at a different medical facility, but not for the patient. So then, I'm like, okay, that's great. How long will it take me to get it? Because I don't have any. I have work in the morning. It's actually what I'm doing right now, is driving to work. I have work in the morning, and I need my prescription because I get pretty bad withdrawals when I'm not on it. I don't know if anybody watching this, if anybody ever does watch this, has ever taken Adderall, but for some people, not everyone, but for some people, you can get some really bad withdrawals even if you just are late to a dose. And it can really affect your train of thought, your ability to, like, do anything, like drive or work or even get out of bed. And for me, it's really bad. I am not a safe driver when I have not taken my Adderall, and I recognize that I'm not a safe driver. I struggle to keep my train of thought. I struggle to, like, just do anything, and you're probably seeing it a little bit because I have at this point taken Adderall today, about a half an hour ago. So it's just now starting to take effect. And I am like, okay, I have work tomorrow. I need this medication, if not just for the fact that it makes it so that I can do my job, but because if I don't take it, the effect on my body is really bad. It gives me nasty migraines. It makes it difficult for me to get out of bed. Not just like, oh, I don't feel like it. Like, literally, I will sit up and fall asleep in a sit-up, upright position. I will immediately fall back asleep and then slump over. And this will go on for hours. It is a serious need for me to take this medication. It's not just some, oh, I can't pay attention in class. No, I have a real adult job and a real adult life, and I need this medication in order to go to those things. So, I explained that to her, and she goes, okay, well, we'll page the doctor on call here and see if they can refill it. Well, the doctor on call never gets back. And at this point, I was at that pharmacy almost until they closed at 9 o'clock. So it was like 9:45-ish, and she's like, okay, here's what we'll do. I will put in another page. I will also page your doctor's office that actually prescribes it, which is also within the University of Utah medical place. The doctor that is currently in charge of prescribing it for me is like 3 miles-ish from the main hospital. Something like that. I don't know. And she's like, I'll page him there. And then our pharmacy here opens at 8:30 in the morning. Come back right at 8:30. By that point in time, they should have seen either the doctor here at the hospital or the doctor at your office should have seen it. I've put it in as high alert. I've put it in that you have bad withdrawal effects. They should see it, and they should be able to send it in. So when you get here at 8:30, it should either be already ready or within about 10 minutes of waiting. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Not really, because I don't normally get up at 8:30. But that sounds great. And so by the time I get home from all this, because I still had errands I had to go run, the time I get home, it's about like 10:30 at night, and then I had another hour of like cleaning up my house and stuff so that it isn't a dumpster fire, and I have to get up at 8 to go do this. And normally I get to my job at like 10 or 11 depending on the day. And I normally sleep until about noon on days that I don't work. Because, like I said, I have some serious sleep problems. My body forces me to sleep for between 12 and 16 hours a day. So, not only have I not taken my Adderall, but also, I have only gotten about 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Probably closer to 6 because of how often I wake up during the night and get up and wander the house. Not sleepwalking, I just have ADHD. So I get there, and the prescription's not ready. I'm like, okay, we can deal with this. The doctor on call never replied. The doctor's office that I normally see never replied. So she gives me the phone number for the direct line to my main doctor's office. I call them. They haven't even seen it. They haven't opened it. They haven't looked at it. This came in high alert. They did not even look at it. And I'm like, okay, well, what can we do? Because I have work in 2 hours. And I have not taken my Adderall today. And I'm already developing a pretty bad migraine at that point. Because I hadn't slept and I hadn't taken my Adderall. So, they're like, okay, well, normally it takes about 3 to 5 business days for a new prescription to be called in. I go, yeah, I know. That's why I started working on this a week ago. But the CVS was out of stock. So, she's like, okay. And the lady on the phone was really nice. She was nice. I was trying my best to not show how frustrated I was because she was a sweetheart. You know? And so she's like, okay, what we'll do is I'll send through another page. The doctors are in a meeting right now. Hopefully one of them is able to see it during it and just fill it. She says, if it goes an hour and it's still not through, call back. And I'll see if I can do something quicker than that. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking in my head, worst case scenario, I just raw dog it at work today, go home, and fall asleep until the pharmacy fucking calls me. So about 50 minutes, I was literally watching the time on my phone, just about to open my chart or call them back and see if anything had gotten through. The pharmacist at the hospital pharmacy says, hey, we got it through, we're filling it right now. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And I go up to get it and show my ID, and she goes, you know they only sent you a 15-day supply, right? Did they communicate that to you? I go, no, they didn't communicate that to me. And she goes, okay, well, I would give them a call back and see what's up with that. And I'm like, okay. So I take the 15 days because I need the medication. And I opened my chart because I got an email that I got a message through. And the message read that basically I am overdue to see my psychiatrist. And because I'm overdue to see my psychiatrist, they no longer feel comfortable prescribing me controlled medications. So they gave me a one-time 15-day supply. And in the future, to avoid this type of a problem from happening, I should see my psychiatrist more often. Oh, I'm sorry. Me not seeing my psychiatrist is the reason why the CVS is out of stock. So, I send the message back and say, it's the CVS that's out of stock. And I, talk to the pharmacist there, and she goes, yeah, in your chart, they've now listed you as drug seeking. Because I dared to speak up and try to get my medication in a timely manner. I am now labeled drug seeking, and am limited to a 15-day supply until I can get in with my psychiatrist next. Now, keep in mind, seeing my psychiatrist is a thing where I call them and they say, we have an appointment 6 months from now. We can get you on the wait list in the meantime. And then the wait list appointment is always like 1 week before the scheduled 6 months thing. So it's like 5 months and 3 weeks out. So I don't know where my Adderall stands. At this point, I feel safer and more confident going down to the city park and buying some meth from a drug dealer. Because at least then I can deal with my withdrawals and not have to suffer through them. Because I'm labeled drug seeking. Because I dared to bother them too many times to ask to please fill my medication. Because the pharmacy was out of stock. And that's what this looks like 16 minutes of recording comes down to. So yeah. If anybody has any advice on how to deal with this or what I can do, I am all ears, because this is ridiculous. This is now a permanent mark in my medical record that I cannot remove, saying I'm drug seeking. That will permanently affect my ability to get any other medications I need. It will permanently affect if I ever go in for a surgery and possibly need a painkiller. It will permanently affect every psychiatrist I ever see. That is now permanently in my medical record because CVS was out of stock, and I dared to challenge my doctor into getting the prescription to me in a timely manner so I didn't have to go through withdrawals.